You even just saw in the same iteration, he was on that team with Binox. He made that way from Might as that team disintegrated, and Frizzy finds a new job as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, this LycusEmpire squad is, it's interesting to me. I think that it's a squad that has a lot of promise, some less known players. You talked about Frizzy being part of Chicken Coop, and I think overall, these guys have been playing more at the advanced level. Sure, there's been some moments where we feel like they've played pretty impressively, but overall, in my opinion, they're sitting near the bottom of the pack. I'm not trying to be harsh or anything, but this is a team that you kind of feel won't necessarily be able to punch up just yet. They might get there eventually, but right now, they're still kind of working their way up the ranks, and I feel like Aether is going to be a little bit ahead of them. That being said, Mark, I'm just trying to wonder whether either of these teams, can really compete against the playoff names. You got M80, you got NRG, that are going to be going up against you in those playoffs. It's going to be tough one way or another, whoever makes it through.
Yeah, 100%, and I mean, where we crack into this veto is going to be even more of a question, because LycusEmpire are going to be striking up into an inferno for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, no, they have not played that for the last 3 months. It's not even on their radar, at least not on officials here on HLTV. Certainly, it's possible they've played it over in ESEA, but as it stands, not against some of the tougher competition here in North America. And, on the other side, you have an Aether squad that, has been playing it not that much either, right? They only played it one time over the last 3 months against Tsunami, and they lost that one. So I think that's the reason why LycusEmpire are deciding to pick into this one. They saw that Aether have had their struggles in the past and don't play it that much. They're hoping that they can gain the edge and maybe looking at the changes on the map and saying, hey, this is pretty cool. Maybe we can capitalize on this and do some cool stuff. And then you have Dust 2 coming in afterwards, and this makes perfect sense for Aether. It has been their bread and butter, 4-1 record, 80% win rate. This is the map that they came up with a win against the Blue Jays on, and it was a 13-5. It was very clean, so I think there's tons of confidence here for Aether. If we need it, we will end up on Train, and I mean, that I feel leans heavily to Aether because it's 0-3 for the LycusEmpire here, and they just lost to Chicken Coop 2-13.
Yeah, they lost bad a couple of times here on this train. It was ugly for them in the process, but look, it was actually, I mean, Super Evil Gang, one of the first teams I remember picking that up in ECL. I mean, it was kind of weird around there, and that's where I'm going to bring the conversation back to, because I mean, it hasn't even been since ECL, since this LycusEmpire team that was under LFO at the time that is played this Inferno. Evan Call was on the roster the last time they played it, so they must have packed it away, had been working on it. Obviously, as we've stated, if you watch the best of 3 prior to this, one hell of a day to bring out this Inferno, obviously fresh off the update here. But there's where our expectations probably lie, is because, look, man, I mean, we talk about it, unknown players over here on Lycus, but they were the regular season warriors of ECL because they were 6th or 4th, I believe. I think it was actually 4th place that they got in the regular season because they were grinding some of those best of ones out, John. It was crazy.
It was actually 2nd place. It was actually second in the regular season.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? They kind of fell flat on their face in the playoffs for, kind of probably being harsh. That's sort of what happened. They had a, bold challenge versus Nouns, and I believe that was, when Evan Caw was kind of stepping down. So they were fading away kind of as a team at that point. But, back together as a unit. They're hungry, and they have a chance to push their ticket all the way to the playoffs. And it was kind of an opposite affair. It was a really rough go about it. Relegation for the Super Evil Gang out there in the Challenger League. So that's kind of where we're placing our foot in this. Obviously, they have 3 out of the 5 players of that in the server, Micro and Tender. They have reached larger feats in many different competitions.
All right, well, engagements here towards the B site. Aether shutting everyone down, and, well, it's only Tabin left now after Clip's era. Gets a bit of overkill with those dualies. Tabin walking up, pulls out the Glock, desperately fires away, and nothing doing at all. Does get one, actually, right before he dies.
Which we will absolutely take it. All the way intact for a CT pistol. and we'll see how Lycus are to set this up. Magic and the boys have been working on this, or so we think. No bomb plant there, but they're still going to go up with the buy, Tech 9s, and potentially a bold play called up.
And interestingly for LycusEmpire, they are going to be competing in ECL Season 50, right? They got invited for the first cup, according to VRS, from July
Aether might have
2025.
been as well.
Yes, Aether did make it as well. They're both in it. So Misha and Flo are going to get a couple of frags here. Tabin gets one back. This is pretty interesting here on the force buy. See Tender doing work from pit 3K.
Nice.
Nothing at all going to phase him here as he gets a second for his squad.
They're showing up. They are really bold right now. This is a awesome notice to be put all the way on. So they're going to try and get this done. Yeah, okay, I'm double checking. They were within that relegation standing. But hey, man, the entire format got reset.
Yeah, it got reset.
And
That's
they
right.
got invited to the next thing. So who cares?
Yeah, exactly. Both teams, which is interesting. I'm going to be curious to see how that goes because, like I said, I feel like these are two teams that might struggle against some of the top tier of competition in ECL. And I'm not even talking about M80 or Wildcard or NRG in that discussion. That's just, you know, the, what's it called, the Marsborns, the bosses, you know, the getting infos of North America. Flo.
Boss.
What's that?
The Ben Leeds of the world leading their
Yeah,
boss. That'll be fun to
dude.
watch.
That boss team could get very scary very fast.
I agree. Unfortunately, when the VRS came out for this tournament, Blue Jays were not like officially a roster yet, so that's why they're not here. And they're looking damn dangerous in this North American scene. It's, you know, PA out, but, you know, we better focus on the good in this North American space where there, you know, maybe a little bit of negativity sometimes.
Absolutely. Do like what the Blue Jays are bringing to the table. Did make it to the grand finals of the NA Revival Series.
They made it there. That's for sure.
They lost, though, to M80. It was quite decisive. Just how this round is decisive in favor of Aether. As Frizzy falls to the ground.
They're going to be, honestly, serving that up at a very nice notice because now you're going to be rolling right into your first gun round, and it doesn't really feel like you've let Aether kind of overpower up in this matchup. And you know what, man? I mean, I don't know what the circumstances are here for Aether. I'm sure Arius will be back in, you know, as soon as that, you know, does conclude. But I mean, who knows if it's, you know, for the rest of this tournament or what have you. Technical pause right here. Doesn't look like we've lost anybody yet. But Flo has a really interesting story here, JRT. This is a guy that was playing the I'm gonna get close, okay? He was playing the other FPS, man.
Oh.
I don't approve of this activity, okay? But it can be forgiven, okay? And that was around 2021 to 2022. And you may remember an organization called Team Omega. I believe they like had a couple teams go to Frag, had a team in advance for some time. But nonetheless, in season 50 of the like regular ESCA circuit, was playing main and was on a team that was 8-6 called the Boiler Boys. Okay, quite a team.
Boiler Boys.
And then yes, he was lifted then to the advanced roster, was a rookie op IGL for the very first time in advance, and then made Challenger.
It's a wild run.
Storybook close.
Well, he's back here with Aether now. At least for Thunderpick. Frizzy loses the fight with Tender. That was a very clean engagement from Tender. Frizzy really had no chance at all. Now that push towards the B site gets a little bit scary for Aether. They've got the smoke up. That's from Flo. Nightblade in the meantime, moving into arch side, checking out Moto. Sees a player but can't connect the shots. Does move in. Lots of footsteps made, and what a peek from Tender. Nightblade erased. 1 minute left on the clock for LycusEmpire to recompose themselves, but Aether appear to be gaining the advantages every turn. Now they've lost one as Flo gets sprayed down by Tabin, and that leaves the B site a bit on notice.
Smoke does miss. Kind of
Yeah,
looks like.
Missed by
Unlucky.
a long shot.
Can't hit them all. You'd certainly prefer it. Fortunately, Vincent made a harshly timed joke. Said the Nade Police was out of a job. Austin is out of a job. So is Cameron OG Wizard, like we discussed earlier. Those guys going to be on teams real soon, so we're looking forward to it. But you would definitely be in cuffs for missing a smoke like that. Magic taking it to the next level here, and he has got Micro out of the conversation. So Tender gets to go down, sees a man with his gun out, and gets a free frag.
4 seconds left, no time. Yep, just has to run. He's got the round. Aether win it. That is a misplay coming through on the side of LycusEmpire, really, because they had the 2v1. It felt like they were gaining that advantage towards the B site, but they couldn't compose themselves and completely overlooked the possibility of a player being towards CT, right? I know the clock was against them a little bit, so they're trying to hightail it towards the B site, but that's a freebie coming through for Aether. And then afterwards, they just can't get to the site to plant the bomb anyway because there's just no time. 4-0 for Aether. Here comes the buy up again for the LycusEmpire. 2 Galils, 2 AKs, the Deagle. This is already trending really well for Aether, though. It's really strange, actually. Oh, maybe I'll talk about it after. Flo's going to win the first one against Doom. Gets traded, or at least Clubzera gets traded, and Flo's going to get that 2K. 4v3 in favor of Aether. Still one player engaging, and Tabin wins the fight. Takes a lot of damage, but again, this B side vulnerable.
Yeah, keeping it bleeding here. A flash right over. They're trying to tease it. Micro to get the space needed. Misha up top, trying to connect these shots, and does. First out of the 2 subs here in the server for Aether. They're trying to make it happen when most notable. This is their route to the playoffs, and a placement that they worked so hard to get. A dogfight of a 3-mapper last night versus the Comets right here. Quick scope out from Micro. Now it's all down to Tabin at this type of HP. This stop might be his last here in round 5.
Tabin. Oh, well, he moved at the right time. Util misses him, but the bullets won't. Misha ensures that Tabin is forcibly removed from this round. 5-0 in favor of Aether. Bomb plant at least will ensure a buy-up can come through for LycusEmpire, but they need some rounds and fast. Looking at the engagement, I should say the matchups that I was going to say LycusEmpire have had recently, the results are surprising because we talked about how dominant they were in ACL last season. I mean, these guys were absolutely on a tear, known as looking for Oregon. In the playoffs, didn't look good in the BO3s. In fact, didn't end up playing in the lower bracket because one of their players couldn't make it to the match. But I mean, recently, look, losing to Boss, 2-0, not really close, lag, not close at all, to a 2-0 loss, and then Chicken Coop also, same story, 0-2. I mean, did win against Supernova Comets, but these are teams that they were beating previously, you know, the caliber that they were competing well against. Anyway, Misha is going to knock a head off, and that's the second of the round here for Aether. There is one response from Nightblade. We'll see if that's enough, but oh my goodness.
Prize.
Wow, oof. Tender's looking good.
Mighty fine, that's for sure. 9-0, hard to beat. In a 2v4, he sees back comfortably all the way to apartments. I really appreciate you adding that context because I think I missed the part where, unfortunately, they were missing their lower bracket matchup due to an asterisk of that content. I think I serve up their playoff loss to be a little bit more harsh than, you know, maybe it actually was. Tender here. Now, that's true. Damn bull. That's pretty harsh to pull all the way across. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely a bit of a bummer, especially for the season that they did have. But they ran into a Nouns that had nothing to lose. They had Peeping. They had, like, everybody that wasn't supposed to be on the team, just, like, one final dance. It was great.
It was. It looked good, too.
Because they were the runner-ups, and they did beat Legacy too. It was so crazy.
It was. That was a wild run. I mean, Legacy before they, you know, kicked it into major gear and tier 1 play, basically. Now they're becoming a tier 1 roster, which is wild. But yeah, no, I agree with you. It was really crazy. Yeah, I'm happy for them. Honestly, it's great to see.
Of the closed qualifier. Obviously, you mentioned it earlier. They were our wild card invite. Excuse me. To the first edition of the North American Thunderpick series here this 2025 season, and they took it by Brazilians. If North American wanted to stop them, they would have. They did not.
No. I think they wanted to stop them, Mark. They just couldn't.
They did. They did want to stop them. That is correct. Tender, Micro, back to back. They're serving it up. Tender yet to go down, and I'm not sure when this is gonna happen. Caster curses avoided. Oh, just crossed.
No,
up
it's
on the
not.
court.
You cursed him.
And he's done. My fault, guys. My fault, guys. Tender, it's not personal. This one maybe happens to be Doom versus Micro. It's the IGL matchup that we've served up, and they've served up a post plant, John.
I'm gonna DM Tender. I'm telling him.
Don't
Mark.
do it. Don't do it, bro.
I'm doing it right now. No. Going back into the action here. Doom and Nightblade are absolutely on notice. Both players' positions known, I believe. Nade, could kill them both.
Do it.
Oh, no, it's thrown too far. I think he wanted to dunk it in, but he missed the toss. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The bullets do the job. And it will be Aether picking up a 7th on the defusal. Would have loved to see a nice nade there, but it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, they chased him down before it could land and be potentially confirmed. Tender's free, put to an end finally. He's got plenty of cash behind him, even some enough to serve up his IGL op what he deserves. 7-0 for Aether right now. This is better than I could have imagined.
Yeah. It's been a downward slide for LycusEmpire, unfortunately, and we're seeing it again here up against Aether. Even with the 2 subs, right? Even with Misha and Flo in the mix. Aether's still looking good. Nice flashbang there, jumping up and down. Doom finally connects on the frag against Clipzera, although both players were flashed momentarily. Micro gets that incendiary tossed in for top banana, and that will push the LycusEmpire back. Lots of damage done to Doom and Frizzy, though, below the half health mark, so it's still, despite being a man edge, Aether can get back into this.
Getting a little bit of brackets respect. What they've earned at a minimum. Walking this far in these shoes. Misha toned up at this type of angle. They allow them to try and hall spot here. We'll comment on how that gets to be a little bit differed in a moment, but a floating AK that we do see.
What did Valve change? We saw the floating bomb that couldn't be picked up before. Now we got a floating AK. This is, the physics have been messed with or something. I don't know. What? All right, well, let's hope that gets fixed very quickly. Either way, Aether cannot find a band-aid solution to this round. They will just be saving the the AWP, excuse me, and the A1S. It is their first round loss. And it was pretty decisive. I mean, I felt like Aether had a decent setup. Micro was going to collect a frag here, maybe a second. There you go. That's $150 now total in terms of frag bonus for the whole squad. That might make a little bit of a difference. What I was going to say was their setup on A was actually pretty decent. They had the player, you know, on balcony. They had one on the site, a crossfire setup. But I appreciate that LycusEmpire isolated the balcony player who ended up in pit very, very well. Like, they sent 3 players in that direction, and Misha wasn't really close enough to punish. He was at headshot, and he just couldn't connect the shots, and obviously lost sight of them as they jumped down beyond the truck and into the pit to finish off his teammate, and he wasn't far behind after that.
Micro just hit some flashy shots right on the back end. He's pretty confident. Take advantage of step early. Not going to be too committed to it, though. Flo got to sit right on the numbers, and for his demise, out to 42 right now, and an audible Q. He's going to be right into the corner and cleaned. It's Frizzy to find the entry.
That's some very nice utility usage coming through from LycusEmpire. They throw a couple of Molotovs to trap him in the corner and then just flush him out with the bullets. 5v4 in their favor, and they're slowing it down. They got a lot of clock to work with. No reason to rush here. Getting their util ready to be tossed forward. Misha, along with Clipzera, waiting patiently on this B site, as the other 2 players for Aether are standing still, pretty much still statues, waiting for the engagement on the other side. They don't know where they're going to come from yet, do Aether. but it's going to be B. It almost has to be, with all the util being committed here, Mark.
On the run soon is going to be Micro. Right now, what they have is what they're going to have to work with. It's Misha and Clipsera who take their chance and are absolutely put out of their class. Post plant going to be cemented here at a point at which Micro and Tender shouldn't even attempt. They get closer than I prefer. Let's see what they're up to.
Looks like they're just trying to hold for exits, perhaps. Get a little more money in their bank accounts, even though their money's already looking good. A couple of players leaving. In fact, 3 out of here. A little bit early. A little too early. Oh, no. Is there a smoke here? There isn't, but there's a flashbang. They're going to toss forward. They can get this defusal. What is happening
No
here?
way.
Go defuse
No
the
way,
bomb.
John.
They have it. I can't believe this, Mark. I can't believe it either. Do they get the frag? Okay, they still got it, but that is despite themselves. Honestly, if there's a smoke there, that round is finished, and they've got it under their belts on the Aether side. I don't understand how LycusEmpire doesn't leave at least one player within striking distance. They had to panic push that back just to desperately spray down the player defusing the bomb.
Rookie stuff, guys. I'm afraid to say it. You can thank Frizzy so much there for having the agility to get all the way back in time, land a quick shot, and avoid disaster. Aether there, just an absolute thorn in the side of the Empire at every turn, and they're about to turn it up to the max if they can. This is a point at which Lycus could actually pivot on it a bit more. I mean, if they would have lost that round, it would have been, you know, their entire opportunity to turn around the rest of the half. Thankfully, like I mentioned, we are not in that reality.
In another timeline, LycusEmpire lost that round. But not here, like you said. Clipsera and Flo gonna get flashed out here towards Banana. Doom gets the first and the second. A little too eager to take that fight where Aether, and now their offer's at risk. Micro, tried to play ahead of the smoke, but has to back off eventually. They're just gonna charge on forward, get that bomb planted, and he has no sight lines at all. May hang around a little bit, but that lurk could also be very dangerous. That's Nightblade. I imagine Aether are going to just save at this point because they're trying to hunt down the lurk. They can't find him. Ring around the rosy. There we go. Finally, Misha will get the frag onto Nightblade, but that is only to secure the save. It will be a third now for LycusEmpire.
Last night, it was our man, Nightblade, who was the MVP of the series. 50 frags, 88 ADR. A really nice output against the Comets when mattered the most there, JRT. LycusEmpire, they grinded it all the way back. It was a third map that, you know, was cemented up. It was quite a series where all the way down, I mean, it was that Dust 2 that you met even where the LycusEmpire were going to be able to catch themselves. That's common ground for either of those groups. And it's LycusEmpire that found the better of the Comets again.
th round of play. Here come the Molotovs from LycusEmpire. Aether hoping to rebuff them here and stop the momentum that LycusEmpire have built up. There's Micro connecting on one. Do they expect the player on the other side? Probably, you'd imagine. Flashbangs out. And now Aether just deciding to double back, which is the right call. They don't want to give anything for free up towards LycusEmpire, and Micro readjusting into Moto. Now he's moving towards Arch, throws the smoke, and backs off. He'll be waiting a little bit longer, you'd imagine, but no. Reaggresses instead. That'll be Tender, in fact. 3 players on this side of the map. For
Tell
Aether.
this Arch positioning is tense.
Yeah.
And it's the play that which they wait for. They're going to turn their eyes here as soon as this fades and see the bomb on the back of Doom right now. Frizzy just across this lip, and it's Micro that will have to just re-equip and potentially for a third, just a hair off the mark there. A triple in totality. And now Clipsera.
Oh, this is such a good spot. Oh my god.
Hide in between the lines. JRT, he does it so well. They're trying to sniff him out. They can tell there's another sense about this, but can they find where the blood will drop? Clipsera drops a double and a full house between him and Micro, John. What a output from Aether to bounce back.
Honestly, that smoke was a boon for Clipsera. He just waits behind it. And, you know, LycusEmpire, to their credit, like, wait, something's weird. You know, he might be here. They spam through it, but he stays alive long enough for them to be like, maybe not. You know, the doubt's in their minds. And right as that happens, right as they just start to move towards a graveyard, is when Clipsera activates and does all the damage. There you go. 8th round found for Aether. And, of course, can't forget the output from Micro, getting frag after frag with the AWP. 3, in fact, from that position at Moto and Arch side. Now LycusEmpire in the last round of play are hoping to get a response. The nades sail through. Clipsera in the smoke again. He loves hanging out and trying to be sneaky, but eventually they have to back off. Oh my goodness, the health is bad. They waited a little bit too long to fall back and had to run through the fire and the flames, and now only 20 HP combined amongst them.
Whilst they wait. Rio back here on this site. Blow, smoke in the pocket, cannot drop it. They're gonna think, we just got a single member site right now. Let's pounce on it, especially with the details right now. They think it's empty. All Clipsera has to do is play to the surprise. Can't line them up for Lycus' demise. It's finally Frizzy that punches in the ditches, but Micro was ready to go, and it's fast around Banana, but a little bit too late, and finally met. It should be a lock and an 8-4 here, regardless of the Hail Mary attempt that it is.
Yeah, just too much damage taken in the early part of the round there by Aether. And, I mean, you fall back, you have 2 of your B players down 20 HP. Yes, you have that surprise element. I agree with you, Mark. It could have activated, but Clipsera was one of the low players. He was that surprise element with 2 HP left. And while he did have an opportunity to strike for a couple, the box got in his way of that second one, and he could never wrangle his spray down to ensure that, you know, Aether would have a better chance at retaking the space on that B site. Anyway, still a very good half from Aether, right? 8-4. LycusEmpire got a bit of a recovery on the latter part of it, but I would overall say that Aether did exactly what they needed to on that defensive end as we head to the second half of action.
LycusEmpire was awfully good, shooting about 80% in those pistols yesterday. Only one that the Comets were able to grasp there at the end of Dust 2. And you know what it took, Don? It took an empathy ace, all right? It could be good in these pistols. This could be an opportunity for Lycus to turn it around here as they get the keys to the CT side.
Oh, Nightblade's going to get that opener on Clipsera. Hoping that they can continue finding some rounds here, building off of the last, I think they won 4 of the last 5, right? On that first half, so they want to continue their winning ways. Tabin, though, will not continue anything as Tender drops him with a few well-placed shots from the Glock. And now, Aether's got a lot of space to gain here and to be only one player in that direction. They know things are potentially a little bit messy in brackets, so B feels like a comfortable choice. They would not be wrong.
Shoulder on that. 50 seconds, and now it's essentially been signaled. Magic, how many can he steal right out from under him? Just currently a single, but there it is, ready to go. That is such a significant find, and it will be Aether laughing about it. This bomb is going to go down here at the back of the sides, and they are just avoiding it. 3v3, and Lycus got to bring their best right now.
I'm already getting used to that new USP reload, honestly. I feel like it's just going to be a matter of time till we're used to all the new animations and sounds here, Mark, like we were talking about before. Anyway, Doom is coming back in here for the retake. He gets 2. Flo gets the response, but he's the last one standing. Should get flushed out by these dualies, and absolutely does. LycusEmpire continue their hot form here over the last 6 rounds and get a 5th on the board.
Huge plays that are not going to stand in anybody's way to get this down. It is Lycus that will go ahead and get this done. Talked about those pistols being an opportunity. They were certainly right in front of our face right there for Lycus to take them and go ahead and see if they can bring their best here. I don't really know if there's an opportunity for Aether to live large right now and try and upset, but it seems like they're reaching for something.
Aether. Couple of Tech 9 spot up. Nightblade's already going to cut one down. Here's all the footsteps. Communicates that to his teammates. Says, hey guys, just line up and kill them, please. And they will get most of them. Tender's still standing 18 and 5. Is he going to get this plant off? You got to be kidding me, Tender. A plant off in an eco round like this is already a coup. He might even win it. Tender gets the frag onto Tab and reloads the FAMAS. 3 HP left. He's going to need the ace clutch. No. Cut down by Doom. As Doom will get his lone frag on the round. Nightblade was the key one, but that's just the eco round where you get the bomb plant, extra $600, and this buy-up all of a sudden looks way better.
Keeping the pressure on. I was going to say it probably wasn't going to get too crazy there, but look at how I'm proved wrong in a certain way. It's not absolutely so clear to it, but we'll see back into the course. We just have to acknowledge how the heat is continuing to be turned up. Even if the score is headed back the other direction, I think Lycus are going to be liking those numbers a lot better. They'll be taking it and maybe giving it a little bit more in stride so that it's not kind of throwing them off too long.
.130 left on the clock here. Aether taking their time in their approach here on their T side, but this is the first buy round coming through from LycusEmpire here in this second half. Or excuse me, not the first buy round. It's the first buy round for Aether in this second half. Got my wires crossed there. Micro. Looking to keep himself all straight. Good to go. No wires crossed there. At least you hope. For the case of Aether. Magic around the corner finds Micro and Flow and Clipsera get a couple back. It's still evenly traded out, but I would say that Aether have the advantage here with all the space they've gained towards top banana.
Park right in position at the top of car, at least with Flow, who's got an entire utility set to at least keep this anchor here. I mean, it's not going to fool Nightblade. Not in the committed setup that they are in. They're literally going for an investigation right now. They're going to see backs crossing and turning right over to Arch. And what's the decision here? It's instinctive to just go for the fights. And Misha fades away. He's going to have to handle this all on his lonesome right now, as Flo is going to be just chugging in his direction. And they've got to be ready for a situation like this right now. It's all the way on Frizzy to try and just manage his expectations, his priorities into the site right here. And it's got it to a 1v1, and Flo, he just has to wait a couple more seconds, tapping right around that corner, and he's got that shot. Flo, 1v1, and he's got it on. S on his chest. The super subs pay off. Flo and Misha, they are welcome to stay tonight because they are shining under these lights.
Yeah, beautifully done from Flo. I mean, there were low HP players, but that was a tough situation, a 2v3. Right, and they're trying to recover from it. A panic move. I don't want to say a panic move, just very quick decision-making coming through from Misha. Addressing his attention directly towards the bomb site, throws the smoke down to give himself some cover, and gets the bomb planted, while his teammates just hightailing it all the way over from the B site to try and join him. And eventually, Flo does more than that. He wins the round for his squad after Misha helps him out with a frag before he goes down for the count. Very well done on the Aether side. Now LycusEmpire, because those first two rounds of the half, or I should say the first, 2 rounds where they got the guns weren't necessarily clean. They've ran out of money. Micro finds the opener here towards the B site. This should be pretty clear cut in favor of Aether. Nightblade does manage to collect a frag on the other side of the map, but Misha quickly puts him down. And now Misha's going to guard this rifle with his life.
LycusEmpire, they've been taxed at every turn. What a great look at the beginning of this offense, and I fully don't even feel like they've turned the page, opened the book too much. This has just been blood sport efforts by Aether that have just been raw, taking the fights, controlling exactly the tempo, and exactly risen from where this started, which was a pistol round win the other way.
Micro the opener, Doom the trade. Stalemate towards Banana. In fact, I would argue that LycusEmpire have gained the upper hand in that direction. That being said, they may have overlooked a spot here into the apartments. Tender could blindside. Nightblade's pulling out util right now. Frizzy's trying to guard him. Nightblade pulls out the gun now, but it'll be a little too late. Misha capitalizes on that delay for a 2K. Tabin and Doom on the other side of the map are probably just going to save. Aether, get another one.
Backing this thing in for 11 and starting to feel like they're about to turn it up even further. 12 right around that corner that they got their eyes on, and it is going to be quite uncomfortable for Lycus here, because if they're not going to get it done here on this Inferno, where it feels like they were trying to pull a fast one, and right now they're just kind of out of the conversation, and round by round this scoreboard just trickling up. Keep in mind, it's way more familiar territory with a Dust 2, common ground, somewhere where they can, probably find some identity back. But this right now is a struggle, and right now it's showing sort of why you're hoping that these CT sides can find a little bit more life in this Inferno.
'18th round of play. Aether want to snuff the life out of LycusEmpire. They don't want them to find anything here on their CT side or anything more than what they've already got. Couple of MP9s, 2 A1Ss, and the A4 clip. Zera moves in for a fight towards Banana. Flashbang toss, but then says, you know what? We're just going to toss that util and back off of it. LycusEmpire aren't even being aggressive. They've got the util, but they're deciding to hold on to it for the time being. As Misha, he spotted a player. He saw Nightblade. He's moving up, and the shots keep ringing through. Three headshots through the wall, and Nightblade just gets peppered down to nothing. Frizzy tries to retake that space, but Misha is just on one right now. Subbing in for the squad, but looking like he's a regular. Tabin, also his latest victim. Doom and Magic, last two standing, but they are on for a save again.
They're not even going to be walking back in this ring, staying in the corner and getting cleaned up over there outside of B. You can see the refs, they're tallying this thing up, and it is not even close, especially when you stand in the ring like that. Some shots from Misha right there, hopping, into apartments, and becomes a damn landlord.
Well, Magic will get one onto Tender, trying to keep this gun alive. Aether are full chasing. They have nothing to lose here. Oh, there goes Magic. Burns alive. Barbecue by Micro. And Doom will get taken down a notch as well by that same man. Micro chasing down those last two players, and it's 12-6 in favor of Aether. One more round, and they've got this one, and this buy-up's going to be bits and pieces, Mark.
You see that peek by Micro Rep that right there sprinting through the back halls? That's going to be one that's reminiscent of the former career of Flo. That looks like a Valorant peek straight up, man. I mean, this is how it's coming to Aether right now. They seem to have plot armor. I mean, Misha did in that last round. That's why Lycus aren't taking it anymore. They are going to bring it to you themselves, and it's an opener right there for Tabin, and that revenge is quickly brought back. Here comes a swarm of T-side players to sweep you up. Your map pick is thrown in the trash, balled up by Aether, who absolutely dominate right here. Tender to lead the pack with 21 frags in a group effort that shines.
Yeah, Tender was one of the best players on the server early on, but Misha and Micro were fantastic as well. Like you said, the whole group was great. And on the other side, LycusEmpire, there were flashes, towards the latter part of the first half, at the beginning of the second half, and then it all just started to fall away again. And I mean, it's been a story that's been repeating itself quite a few times for this LycusEmpire squad. And again, like you said, their map pick of Inferno, right? This is the map they wanted to go towards, even though they haven't played it that much. They thought maybe Aether are vulnerable. They're not. They looked great. And now we go to Dust 2, Mark. What needs to change?
I mean, we got to find a different type of energy, one that is reflective of some of the heights that, these chill guys, playmaker rosters, in like the really deep runs they used to make, like in advanced. And as we saw, they were rocking that chill guy's name for the majority of the last season of Challenger League, as much of us will remember. I mean, they did really well. Look, and they got to find that confidence that they, did have, rocking with that group with Evan Kaw, who's playing on a different team now after he stepped back. And to be honest with you, it was Frizzy playing really, really well when we saw him yesterday. So to be honest with you, I think that's a guy that can pump a lot of energy into the squad. I've seen this guy play on LAN with teams like Fisher College back in a kind of a long ways away. But, guys don't change, okay? This is a guy that I know gets excited when he plays and is absolutely going to bring some energy here when and if he can provide it right now for this Dust 2. I think this is where you need the temperature to be turned up. And I got to see a kind of, to be honest with you, it could be a great game to turn that right around from Tabin. That's what happened yesterday. They kind of got blown out on that Ancient, and then they, reached right back in the series. So
they're going to need someone, whether it be Frizzy or Tabin, to step up to the plate, especially on a map like Dust 2 where the individuals need to shine. And you look on the other side for Aether, everything has been fantastic for them. A couple of overtime wins against Supernova Comets and Tsunami. They beat the Blue Jays here. We already talked about that earlier. And against Chicken Coop, who have been very good on Dust 2, they pushed to overtime, lost 13-16. But if you look on the other side against Chicken Coop, LycusEmpire, they did win once against them, 16-12, but recently lost 4-13. So I don't know. It's a bit, I want to say it's a bit of a toss-up, Mark, but I still feel like given these results, given the way they're playing on map number 1, they're still the team to beat here. Anyway, we'll see if LycusEmpire can really get things together on Dust 2, but we have to wait until after this break. All right, we're back into it here. Lycus Empire up against Aether. Map number 2, Aether looked very, very good on map 1. Not too fussed in their 13-6 victory. And now we go on to Dusty, which is their map pick, a map they're 4-1 on. You look over the Lycus Empire squad, Mark, and when they were known as looking for Org, they had Merle and I believe it was Evan you mentioned before, right? You talked about Evan a lot. I think... Oh, we'll get back to it now because the round is underway. Clipsera is going to get that opener and the fall.
Oh my
Tabin
gosh.
gets a couple back. You talked about Tabin being key on that Supernova Comets victory, and he will get 2 at least to open things up here, but his team has still found a man disadvantage because Nightblade is gone.
Tabin whips around, and now it's into a Frizzy scenario, who we were talking about as a potential character to step up here as we open up the plot to map 2. But that's still to be the question.
So, yeah, just to finish my thought from before, Merle was their top player, 1.12 rating, right? He was the one that they looked towards to pop off. And Nightblade as well. Now, they lost Merle and they lost Evan, but Nightblade's still there. And, you know, Frizzy was joining up from Chicken Coop, his time in Chicken Coop, and you thought maybe he could do something impressive. I feel like Nightblade's really, although he has had his matches, he has had some good performances, it's just not been as effective as he was back when Merle was on the roster.
Yeah, Nightblade is a player that has received some criticism for some of these inconsistencies, but when the highs are high, it's damn good, you know, and where you can, you know, get this measurement up, you lose Merle, you lose Evan Kaw, and, you know, I really like bringing back this matchup of Doom and Magic, players that saw each other, you know, back on Hound. That might be an organization you remember from some of the times in NA, John. They had like a nice stint over there of 4 or 5 months, and I think you bring experience in where you were, you know, bring in Merle from some international experience. We'll hit resume on that in one moment. It seems to be a map 10 stir of the pot by Misha, who was quite hot to trot and seems to have that hand the same temperature here in this second map. But Merle was a pretty important player for them. And like I said, is a player that did bring in a good amount of experience, because I have seen some like Evan Kaw, you know, here and there. I played with the guy in like ESEA main like 12 seasons ago, but like I've seen him go on to, you know, pretty quickly, I think, join like 2 advanced teams, play like 3 or 4 seasons of advanced, and then be brought him to the squad. Like, he's at a pretty high rise and a pretty quick one. So he's back playing in the ESEA Elite Cup, I believe, right now with a team called SBE.
Yeah, he's finding his time in the spotlight, no question. That's potentially the cost of this Lycus Empire squad. We'll see. Tabin connects on one, but then gets flashed out. Gets another chance at it, but this is a bomb plant now, and Tabin has to back off and wait for the reinforcements to arrive. They're going to plant for Cat because they don't have long cleared out. Doom and Frizzy waiting in CT. They're relying on their long players to do something, but Micro's kind of keeping them on notice, right? Just by holding this angle, and then wins the fight against Magic, who's swinging on him. Well done. Now he'll back off because, you know, he's in the back of Tabin's mind. Frizzy and Doom, they don't gain any additional ground. This is a save.
A good way to shut this down. How much more damage is there going to be? Keep these guns out. Please save them.
He's dead.
I don't think you're going to have the damn choice. You already had that opportunity. Just stand. You fold it. Maybe this op gone as well. Tabin has been flashy before. The 2 bodies will hit the floor, and to be honest with you, that is a cost they will bear. That's the op out of the hands of the CT side, and their pockets are empty. They could have 3 guns, including an op.
I'm going to be honest here, Mark. I think if Lycus Empire don't make a roster change, they could just fall into the doldrums of North America. I don't really see anything happening with this current iteration of the roster. It's not clicking the way they want to. And I don't know who needs to step out or in, but things are not looking great.
Tabin. He is still whipping this thing, maybe to potentially get a second here as he is alive, but not well for too much longer. Hey, you look good with that thing, Flo. It's almost like you had that thing in this jersey before. Was the IGL and AWP player here for the North American team, as he took a step back. I believe he got a work opportunity in real life that he couldn't just pass up. And that is obviously where we need to address the real life parts of the player. You know, we don't talk about that too much on the stream. And, you know, obviously it may not go to plan, but, you know, obviously things like that happen. And, you know, shout out to Flo for making hard decisions.
It's not easy, right? It's not easy. You want to follow your heart. You want to follow your passions a lot of the time. Some can. Some have to make the tough decisions and go in different directions. I still think Flo has a lot to offer here in North America.
Definitely,
you know,
definitely.
He's showing it right now. His opping has been good. Op IGLs are disappearing. They're a dying breed, like because it's just so difficult.
We have one coming up to North America to join us here. Here, Otic and Woody are coming to a Fragadelphia here soon, I believe, out in Knoxville, Tennessee. So even that used to be a very common breed down there below the equator, but it is really not anymore. And like Woody's like the only guy I can think of off the top of my head that like still exists. You know, you can probably think of 5 scenarios where it's Art, hey, give your op to Zevi, you know, like something like that.
Well, I mean, Flo is not going to be op in here, though. Micro's going to go back to those duties. And, I mean, more of a point to what we were saying, right? The fact that, you know, IGLs aren't going to op anymore. They don't want to do that because they need to focus more on the calling, and it's just too much. Op is becoming more and more important. Map on, with all the map changes that are being made, overpass, super critical, train as well. And, for example, if Inferno is next to leave the pool and maybe they add cobblestone back, I don't know, you know.
Ooh, all right.
That would make it a very op-heavy map pool.
I like where your head's at, John.
There. Yeah.
Out of this beast sight. Snap, blink your eyes, look away for a moment, and you'll miss the entries on this. They are so quick and clean by Aether. It is just heads above Lycus at the moment. And one where, as you kind of mentioned, it's maybe a little bit grim with, you know, some of the projections with this roster, especially where they, you know, reach such heights for players that hadn't in the past in ECL last season, and at a point where, you know, they've been maybe having some awkward outputs in other tournaments in opportunities, excuse me. They had kind of a shorter run out there in the Pro League qualification, did have some, you know, good stints out there. I even got to see them a little bit. Here goes a shot all the way down into spawn. Tavern finds it out, but I actually got to see them get, you know, kind of wrecked, for lack of a better term, versus LAG. And that's obviously a team that's going to be joining up into the playoffs for very good reason.
Oh, yeah. That's a team to keep an eye out for. No question about it. Aether might be as well. I would rank them below LAG right now. But we'll see what they can pull together.
Excited to see how those playoff matchups are going to shake out. You know, you may get stronger or weaker opportunities, you know, based on draw or however it shakes out, really. Sabin opens it up there. Clipsera pays the price, but obviously, we have Comets, we have Marsborn on the line. Right before this, you just saw a ticket punched yourself by LAG. You got one more ticket to hand out. The golden variety. Or maybe it's red. It seems to be the Thunderpick North American theme.
Yes. We'll see which team is seeing red in this round. Certainly Lycus Empire might be with all the frustrations they faced over this map and even the last. Nightblade. Gone. Tender just takes care of both. Makes it look so easy. Folks, it's not. And Tender does eventually fall to Magic, but it's still a man advantage in favor of Aether. Now Magic's positioning is known. Information gained. Frizzy hanging around mid. Magic, oh my goodness. It's just being watched the whole way. Easy frag for Misha. Frizzy, nothing to do but save again. It was trending well in the early goings for LycusEmpire, but indeed they are the ones to fall again for a 6th time in a row.
Vitals keep really kind of getting lowered every single turn about it. This is kind of a disappointing look, to be frank with you, for a team with a really good playoff opportunity on the line. Really nice end there by Frizzy to find out every hunter within range. But, I mean, you know, we were even bringing up in conversation before, you know, the peaks of such players like Nightblade, you know, really consistent online and, you know, sometimes really would get those peaks going and, like, especially had good games that would bring this LycusEmpire team over the line. But, you know, has been a little bit rocky. We've seen him on Thunderpick here. And unfortunately, like, 0-6 right now is not the point at which you were at last night. The MVP of the series coming out against the Supernova Comets just yesterday.
Someone needs to step up here for LycusEmpire. Tabin kind of has been, and you saw Frizzy there keeping his gun, building up some cash for his squad in the process. Maybe this is the right time to push. Clipzera spotted. Frizzy will get the freebie. Does he fall back afterwards? Micro's already tagged down to 14 HP. Doom catches Tender. Okay, something may be materializing here for LycusEmpire.
Tabin finds Micro. And you're right, this could be it. This could be their first round on the board here. 10 frags deep for Tabin. Been working at this one for a minute, been chipping away. And now here's Catwalk revisited. Flow with an instant headshot. Now the floodgates open towards Cat. Nisha and Flow were the ones that were able to finish out the map there to go on Inferno, but they are just diving across the line for this. And this aggressive play can either make it or break it, and they go ahead and get it done as the first up for the Empire.
Yeah, I mean, the key there for LycusEmpire is ensuring that one player doesn't go out at a time, and they absolutely group up and then execute 3 bodies around that corner, and Aether just cannot line up the shots in time. Finally, the goose egg has been cracked here, and LycusEmpire get that first, but they need more than that. They need a string of rounds, right? This is very reminiscent of what happened on Inferno. It was a very nice lead for Aether. I think it was 7-0 in that case, and then LycusEmpire managed to string a few together on the tail end of the half, but still, they don't want to have to constantly be fighting from behind. And it's still a significant deficit. Money situation isn't great for Aether, but they've made it work with less. Magic, gonna get the headshot onto Clipzera. Nade sails through to try and chase him away, and that will do the job, but still another opener for LycusEmpire is a good sign.
As soon as the smoke fades upper, Micro may go a little bit further. The way he's cocking the smoke right now, that's toted as a lurk right here. And they're trying to at least kind of get a reaction out from this B lane, see what is here about it. And they're going to be aware of the 2-player position. And at least they know what they're getting themselves into now. It's going to be Frizzy up top, and he's going to be taken down. So opening kill is going to be put back into a fair position. That's an awkward door smoke, but one that they got to maneuver with regardless. 35, bomb yet to be planted.
Yeah, it's not too bad because no one's close. If they were closer, maybe it would have been a problem, but they quickly recycle another smoke in there and take care of it. Now, LycusEmpire, do they have the util? They have a nade, couple of flashes. Going for a boost up. I like this boost because you get a lot of visibility towards, you know, the cubby and maybe a little bit into plat, but they don't get the visibility. Yeah, just below it. And Misha, despite being flashed, still gets the hedge onto Magic. Micro finds Tabin, and Nightblade is quivering in his boots. He will get one, but eventually you'd imagine get traded. No, he's still alive. There's no time though, Mark. There's no way. He can't win the round, even if he gets the frag, and he won't find that frag. Flow gets the last, and it is 7-1 for Aether.
They catch themselves falling after one round. You can call it barely a slip. It is a 7th on the board. and it's written right back. 10 frags here for Flow. What a map right now that Aether are trying to put through in a quick contest right now. A completely one-sided affair that you had on that Inferno. There was life. I mean, there was life there by Lycus at one point. On that T side, they were able to kind of turn around the half, see it out of, you know, what they were able to make the most of the second. And, you know, it was that pistol and then it was nothing else, unfortunately. So right here where you pull up beside it, it's this 7-1 scoreline. And at a point at which this is not looking really promising in the slightest of terms. But as long as we got to opt in the hands of Tabin, then there may be a way to find opening kills and convert.
Did get the opening kill in the previous one, but as you mentioned, that second part, the conversion was not there. No opening frag this time. Nightplay was just trying to set up some util, and Flo says, see you later. You might want to be a little faster next time. Tabin, in the meantime, is getting super aggressive. Should have a freebie here. No! Misses the shot, Tabin! Not like this, and Misha finds Doom afterwards, who's just trying to get in and make some noise. It is all falling to pieces here for the Lycus Empire, and they will lose the round handily.
Disaster, demise, and then death for the IGL down below. Magic can't believe what is happening right now here in this Dust 2. But there's always a positive end to this. There's always, I guess, light here with 8-4, but I think that's just an idea in the best case scenario here. I'm going to need more proof to the pudding. If I'm really going to be cheering for that, Micro going to get tagged up here. Same treatment out for Tabin.
What do you got, Lycus Empire? What are you going to pull off here? Doom gets a little bit antsy, maybe, going up towards mid, but backs off immediately. Nightblade, in the meantime, on the edge of this Molotov. I don't know how he's not taking damage. He looked like he was right in the middle of it, or at least on the edge of it, I should say. But no, he's safe. He's good to go. Question is, are his shots? Micro, hiding in the corner towards top mid. He's waiting for rotations or noise to be made after this A hit comes through. Look how far up Tender is. Just gonna go straight up. They just flash out and hit the shots. Both players drop towards CT. Cap player also absolutely deleted. And we have a 5v2. This is just too strong from Aether.
A 2v5 now. I don't know really how to rate this. Aether are steaming ahead right here. And to be honest with you, where we were putting this conversation, I was putting it on results that, you know, were months old, but, you know, it's all that we had. I mean, Aether, you know, besides tournaments like that, it's really been inactive, you know, activity for them. Had opportunities to go ahead and kind of work it forward as they may. Dust 2 Eagle Masters, they grind it in as well. Lost to Tsunami out there. But I've been able to put in good practice. I've been able to get opportunities through that. And Aether are a team that you may compare with Lycus Empire from the end of the last season of Challenger League. Follow their directions and see that Lycus Empire, well, they've kind of faltered and one team has gone right back above. It's how you continue to grind. It's how that off-season works. It's making sure that you have these details together. These moves have been made for Aether, and I mean, they're watching alongside, and I'm sure they're damn proud.
Oh yeah. Tabin, happy to get another opener here, but he wants to see those converted. He's had them, I think, 3 or 4 times. Magic will get the follow-up this time, but he gets traded by Flo, just running and gunning with the P250. Micro the follow-up. Tabin's still alive. He's only got 12 health. He continues connecting shots, but eventually he is felled by Flo's AK. Frizzy and Doom, 2v2 up against Micro and Flo. Micro watching for the players to come from CT. Only sees a smoke, but throws a Molotov to delay the advance. It's a little too shallow next to that smoke, so it will fade a little bit faster because of that. There's the nade to blow the smoke away, but it won't really make a difference here, Mark. Doom is dead to rights.
Chained up right now. Absolutely, when they are against Flo, who is just doing exactly that, 15-3 and flashy while doing it. It feels like a deathmatch server because that's exactly where we're at. Dust 2 calls on that individual ability. Aether, that's how they got to Challenger League in the first place, is by calling on their experience, calling on their fragging power, and bringing it all in one.
Oh, Lycus are just desperate. I mean, they're kind of pugging it out, pushing every single angle. One goes to the lower tunnels. Nightblade will catch Flow. Doom gets Tender, so it's kind of working at this point. They both fall back and think, okay, it's probably going B. They've got a player coming from T-spawn, which could be the difference maker at this point if Aether don't activate soon. Does Magic have an angle here? I think he might. If he's watching for Clipzera, and he is, Clipzera still surviving. Now they know he's there, and could this really fall apart for LycusEmpire? Felt like they had all the right pieces in the right places, Mark. Oh, no. It is.
No.
It is falling apart.
Oh, and it has fallen. It has fallen.
Oh, man. The Empire has fallen.
2 subs, too many reasons, John, to keep themselves out of playoffs, but they're here. It's an 11-1 half. And the LycusEmpire, they're being outclassed. They are out of the yard right now. And I don't know, man. I'm not feeling a whole lot of energy back from that particular side. It's not looking good.
They look a little bit checked out. I think they tilted in that round. They went for pushes. It kind of worked for a little bit, but Aether slowed it down. LycusEmpire didn't. I mean, what can you do? The wind is out of their sails. Everything crumbling around them. As it's 11-1 for Aether, a pistol round victory, and I don't think we're going to get very far into the second half, if Aether get it, that is. I know it says a storm is brewing up there, guys, but I think it's already full on. It's a tsunami in here.
Been pouring on him for a while, man.
Yeah.
LycusEmpire loving themselves a pistol, though. Prove that on the second half of Inferno. If it's anything, it has to be it all right now here. Where we get this going. Magic, if you've got any more calls to go ahead and grab from the bottom of the basket, go ahead and reach.
I don't know. I think he's going to reach in and only find a dust bunny. Micro. Going to get that headshot onto Nightblade. Already a good start for Aether. Ooh, good response at the very least from Magic. Micro, you're going to slip through the smoke and do more damage. You can't do this to them. Don't do it. Be nice. He's not going to be nice. Why would he? He wants to win. He goes up and gets 2 more. The last no, but Tender will finish it off. Aether, the 12th, and that could be it, Mark.
It almost is. Aether can taste it practically. This is going to be their final defuse to get it to 12 here. And now all they've got to do is just lock in turn the key right now. This is their playoff spot. That is inevitable. And now it's Lycus staring back up at this scoreline. One more round. Remembering all that it took to get here. And unfortunately, it goes back to a cliche saying that I'll say. It's not about how you start. It's about how you finish. And they're finishing about how they started. This is how it looked versus the Coop, and this is how it will finish.
Magic. And Doom, they try for it. This is already over. Frizzy and Nightblade, the last 2 standing. Aether. They want to end this. Got aggressive. Last one is Nightblade, who does manage to get a consolation prize and a frag onto Tender. But with only 13 HP left and a jumping micro, just literally jumping around like a bunny rabbit there as he goes in towards mid. Takes care of the last, and it is 13-1 for Aether. Never really in doubt, Mark.
Ups all the way to playoffs, JRT. They called in Flo just for this matchup, and they got it done. Arius and Juna watching alongside on these sidelines, excuse me, they are going to be happy with this result, and it will be Aether continuing on in the second series here in North America at the 2025 Thunderpick tournament. JRT, I don't think they could be happier with this result and a clean 2-0 that has them smooth sailing into the waters of playoffs.
Now the question becomes, who are they going to face off against once they get to those playoffs, right? I mean, you got NRG, Wildcard, M80, and Getting Info. It's just, there's not a good pick there. I'd say the worst one would be M80. I mean, I think we already,
totally.
I'm not sure, Mark, you already told me that it may be Chicken Coop facing off against M80. I just don't envy any team who will face off against them. Anyway, yeah, we have it. Oh, awesome. So M80 Chicken Coop. Sorry, Chicken Coop, that's tough. I mean, I don't know what you guys are going to do there. M80 are looking absolutely lights out incredible right now. But you see here, Aether Energy. See, that's a matchup that I feel like Aether could get an upset in, because Energy are still trying to, implement Zodic into the lineup, and Carson as well. So I feel like maybe there's a chance for Aether to get an upset there.
Yeah, I really would like to kind of agree with you, but I don't know if I can. I don't know if the Aether mark continues there. I think they're certainly going to give them a game. I think that players like Tender and Micro, who have been like grinding in the last 4 or 5 years in NACS, are seeing this exotic guy come back, and that may provoke them personally. They're going to be going in there with nothing to lose. They're playing with house money now in a spot that, in my opinion, should have been the Comets out here. And so they're going to be holding on to this and loving the opportunity to do so. But where my eyes go are to Wildcard LAG. Yeah, I'm really excited for that one. I think that Brett and the boys have a vendetta. They don't want this to just be out of the groups for them. They really had a tough one versus Marsborn, and I think they are loving the energy. I'm loving the energy of this squad right now. They're coming off a LAN. They had really good results back from the groups. I mean, they played Marsborn damn well, and with the wild card that you just casted the other day, John, that is lackadaisical and is lacking inspiration, this could be an opportunity for an upset.
Definitely. I think that wildcard team needs like a month to cook again, because Stan's coming back. It was up and down, or in and out of the roster for him. And then you have Peeping being added, and Friend as well, that Stan has to try and figure out how to play around. Anyway, yeah, definitely Lag has a chance there. And then Marsborn Getting Info is actually the one where it's more of an ECL matchup. So I think that one will be really, really good. Anyway, that's going to wrap up our coverage here today, guys. I mean, the playoffs are, I think, going to start tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, right, Mark?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. We're starting tomorrow. We're starting tomorrow with M80 Chicken Coop and Getting Info Marsborn for our first day of those playoffs. So that's going to be really fun. And as we, kind of just discussed, maybe those are, maybe the two more locky options between some of the bunch. We're splitting off one that, to be honest with you, you've probably heard me on stream. I can't remember if I said this with you or Vincent, but Chicken Coop are the hottest team out of the groups right now. But it may not matter, because they're running into NRG online. They had that series versus NRG at Frag where they took that dust too, but they also got 13-0'd, right? Like, it's going to be only so much and so far you're going to be able to push this team.
Wait, Chicken Coop's against M80, right? You said NRG, or?
Did I say NRG? It will be Chicken Coop taking on M80.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. I just wanted to make sure that what we saw there was right.
Thank you for correcting me.
No, it's fine. It's fine. But like, honestly, yeah, I just feel for Chicken Coop, they are absolutely the hottest team. I think any other matchup that Chicken Coop plays would have been fun and would have been exciting.
Yes.
I just don't see it for M80. I love Chicken Coop. I'm with you, Mark. Like that's a team that looks so exciting right now in terms of their rise up with like, the Blue Jays as well. I feel like those two teams are the ones to keep an eye on right now, but yeah, it's going to be tough. If they get a win, though, wow, like that's going to be something we're going to be talking about for a while, I would say. Anyway, we have to wait for that. Wait until tomorrow. Mark's going to bring it to you with Vincent. I'm going to be out of here. I'm going to be somewhere else, taking a break for a day. You guys got Paladin as well. It's going to be a great show, guys. You're going to love it. They're going to carry you through it. But for today, we are signing off. Hope you guys have an amazing night.